Welcome to Lingotales, where we will live the story and learn the language. What makes someone truly beautiful, and what happens when the heart notices what the eyes first miss? Today, we return to Beauty and the Beast, a beloved old fairy tale about loss, courage, loneliness, and unexpected love. In this story, a gentle young woman asks her father for only one rose, but that small request leads her into a mysterious castle deep in the winter forest. There, fear slowly changes into understanding, and a hidden truth waits beneath a frightening face. So let us begin in a quiet town between green hills and dark woods where one family is about to lose almost everything. A wealthy merchant sat with his 3 daughters in a warm house filled with silk, silver, books, and flowers. His 2 older daughters loved elegant dresses, shining jewels, and the admiration of everyone around them. They dreamed of grand homes and wealthy husbands. The youngest daughter, Beauty, loved quieter things, reading, music, flowers, and small acts of care. People admired her gentle face, yet they loved her kind heart even more. When her father returned home tired, she would read beside him until his worries began to ease. The merchant stood beside an empty desk as letters about lost ships lay scattered before him. Terrible news had arrived from the sea. One ship had sunk in a storm, another had been taken by pirates, and others had simply vanished. Before long, the family fortune was gone. Their grand house had to be sold, and the servants were dismissed. With a heavy heart, the merchant took his daughters far from town. They settled in a small cottage near the woods, where everything was plain, and the old comforts had disappeared. Beauty swept the floor of the small cottage while her 2 sisters sat nearby in unhappy silence. They mourned their lost dresses and empty jewel boxes, complaining as if their lives had ended. Beauty felt the loss too, but she refused to let sorrow make her hard. She rose early, baked bread, tended the garden, and helped her father with patient care. Gradually, she found peace in the clean air, the quiet woods, and the stars that seemed closer than they had ever looked in town. The merchant read a letter at the cottage table as hope returned to his tired face. A ship once believed lost had safely reached port, and perhaps part of his fortune could be restored. He prepared to travel to the city at once. Before leaving, he asked his daughters what gifts they wished him to bring. The older sisters requested silk gowns, pearl necklaces, gold combs, and every luxury they missed. Beauty hesitated, not wanting to burden him, and finally asked only for a single rose. The merchant rode alone through a dark winter forest as snow covered the road. In the city, his hope had quickly faded. The ship's goods had already been claimed by creditors, and nothing remained for him. Poorer than before, he began the sad journey back to his daughters. Then heavy clouds gathered, the wind grew fierce, and the trees seemed to twist around him in the darkness. Night fell hard. Cold, hungry, and frightened, the merchant lost his way among the silent woods. The merchant approached a great castle glowing with warm light behind open gates in the snowy forest. No guard waited at the entrance, and the courtyard was strangely silent. He called out, but no one answered. Inside, he discovered a splendid hall where a bright fire burned on the hearth. A table had been set with hot food, fresh bread, fruit, and wine. Trembling with cold, he thanked the unseen host aloud, ate gratefully, and later found a soft bed prepared for him. The merchant reached toward a red rose blooming beneath the snow in the castle garden. That morning, he had found fresh clothes, a waiting breakfast, and his horse fed in the stable. Once again, he thanked his invisible host and prepared to leave. As he crossed the garden, he noticed a bush covered in perfect roses, their red petals bright against the white winter world. Remembering Beauty's simple request, he stretched out his hand and plucked one flower from the branch. A towering beast stepped from the garden shadows as the merchant knelt with the stolen rose in his hand. The creature was taller than any man, with powerful limbs, sharp claws, and eyes filled with grief and anger. In a terrible voice, he accused the merchant of stealing the one thing he had no right to take. The merchant begged for mercy and explained that the rose was for his youngest daughter. At last, the beast offered one choice. The merchant must return in a month, or a willing daughter must come in his place. Beauty received the red rose from her trembling father inside the cottage. She had run to greet him, but she immediately saw that something was wrong. His hands shook as he gave her the flower. Surrounded by his daughters, he told the whole story of the castle, the beast, and the frightening bargain. The older sisters cried out in fear and anger, blaming Beauty for asking for a rose. Beauty remained silent, thinking of her father lost, cold, and helpless in the forest. Beauty stood calmly before her grieving father and declared that she would go to the beast's castle. Her father refused again and again, saying he would rather die than lose his child. But Beauty told him that his life was worth more than her fear. The beast had asked for someone willing, and she was willing. When the month had passed, Beauty rode with her father into the forest. The trees closed around them, and the road carried them back toward the mysterious castle. Beauty sat at a prepared table in the silent castle as the beast appeared before her and her father. She trembled at the sight of him, yet she forced herself to meet his eyes. His shape was frightening, but his gaze held a sadness that made her pause. The beast asked whether she had come by her own choice, and Beauty answered that she had. Then he told the merchant he must leave at sunrise and never return. Through their last night together, father and daughter wept. Beauty entered a beautiful castle room with golden letters on the door naming it as hers. She had expected a prison, but the room was filled with books, music, fine fabrics, flowers, and windows overlooking the gardens. Invisible hands seemed to care for every need. Meals appeared, fires were lit, and fresh flowers brightened the halls. Still, the castle felt strange and lonely. Remembering her father's farewell, Beauty wondered what kind of life waited for her behind its silent doors. Beauty sat across from the beast at an evening table lit by candles. At first, she could barely eat in his presence. His voice was deep, his face was terrible, and every movement made her heart race. Yet he never threatened her. He spoke gently, though awkwardly, and asked about her day. When she answered, he listened with care. Each night, he asked whether she could ever love him and become his wife. Each night, Beauty answered kindly but honestly that she could not. Beauty stood before a magic mirror that showed her father sitting alone by the fire in the cottage. As days turned into weeks, she explored the castle and found wonders in almost every room. Galleries of paintings, shelves of books in many languages, and music that seemed to play by itself. But the mirror touched her most deeply. Her father looked thinner and sadder than before. Her sisters had married and gone away, and they rarely visited him. Seeing him so lonely made Beauty's heart ache. The beast gave Beauty a ring at dinner while she wiped away tears for her father. She could no longer hide how deeply she missed him. When the beast asked what troubled her, she told him the truth. She longed to see her father, if only for a little while. The beast was silent for a long time. Then he said she might go home for 1 week, but warned that if she did not return, he would die of grief. Beauty faithfully promised to come back. Beauty woke in her father's cottage and embraced him as he cried with joy. For the first time in many months, his face shone with happiness. She stayed with him, cooked his favorite meals, walked with him in the garden, and told him about the castle. She did not describe the beast as a monster. Instead, she spoke of his patience, his sadness, and his strange, gentle heart. The little cottage felt alive again, and because she loved her father, the thought of leaving grew painful. Beauty's older sisters clung to her hands in the cottage, pretending to weep as they begged her to stay. When they saw her fine clothes and jewels from the castle, jealousy stirred inside them. With sweet voices and false tears, they said their father needed her and that 1 week was far too short. Beauty knew she had made a promise, but love for her father made leaving difficult. When the 7th day came, she agreed to stay 1 more day. Then another day passed. Beauty dreamed of the beast lying motionless beside the rose bushes in the castle garden. It was the 10th night, and the dream filled her with terror. His great body lay still, his eyes were closed, and the roses bent silently above him. Beauty woke with her heart pounding. Her promise returned to her like a ringing bell, clear and urgent. She understood that she had stayed too long. At once, she placed the ring beside her bed and begged to be taken back to the castle. Beauty ran through the silent castle garden and found the beast lying beneath the roses. When she opened her eyes, she was back in the castle, but everything felt cold and empty. No music played and no fire seemed warm enough. She called for the beast through the halls until she reached the garden from her dream. There he lay, his breath faint. Beauty knelt beside him and took his heavy head into her lap. Slowly, his eyes opened, filled with deep sadness. Beauty wept over the dying beast as a bright light began to fill the garden. He told her he had believed she would never return, and without her, he no longer wished to live. In that moment, Beauty understood her own heart. She no longer saw only claws, fangs, or a frightening shape. She saw the one who had loved her with patience and trust. She begged him not to die because she loved him and wished to become his wife. A young prince stood before Beauty in the shining garden as the roses bloomed around them. The beast had vanished in the glow, and in his place stood a graceful, kind-eyed prince dressed in silver. He explained that an enchantress had cursed him for pride and carelessness, and only freely given love could break the spell. As the enchantment ended, servants appeared, music filled the halls, and the dark woods softened. Beauty's father was brought to the castle, and soon Beauty married the prince she had already loved beneath the beast's form. Beauty and the Beast does not end with a reward for outward beauty. It ends with a deeper kind of seeing. Beauty begins as someone who asks for very little, only a rose, yet her courage leads her into fear, mystery, and loneliness. In the castle, she discovers that kindness can live behind a frightening face, and that love cannot be forced by wealth, power, or pity. The Beast changes because Beauty sees his hidden goodness, but Beauty changes too. She learns that promises matter, that compassion has strength, and that the heart often recognizes truth slowly. The rose becomes more than a flower. It becomes a reminder that patient love can reveal what was hidden. You can find the learning materials for this story, along with many more stories, on our website at lingotales.app. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with others. And if Lingotales is helpful for your learning journey, consider subscribing so you can stay connected with our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.